For all the Jural Assemblies Part 21 Capacity of the People by Anna von Reitz. While the subject matter of a case will often immediately determine the correct jurisdiction and court to hear it, the issue of capacity in which the parties act is by no means as clear-cut, and requires due diligence. Consider the sentence, Marc is one of the people who built the Cross River Bridge. Marc is obviously a man who helped build a bridge, and he did so in an unincorporated capacity, because the word people was used. If we said, Marc is one of the persons who built the Cross River Bridge, we would have an entirely different flavor and meaning. This would imply that Marc is the name of a corporation or business of some kind that was involved in building the bridge. It's the same name, but different capacities are indicated. This applies all across the board. Marc Allen Jones is a member of our football team. Unincorporated capacity. Marc Allen Jones is American. Corporate capacity, international trade, international land jurisdiction. Marc Allen Jones, Inc. provides tax accounting services. Incorporated capacity, international commerce, international jurisdiction of the sea. We, too, can choose to act in the capacity of one of the people, our national soil jurisdiction, or one of the people, our international land jurisdiction, or as a person, international sea jurisdiction or municipal jurisdiction. When we act as one of the people standing on our international land jurisdiction, we use a trade name, like John Michael Downing. We use the same style of proper name while operating as a United States person in the international jurisdiction of the sea. It's the same name, but two different jurisdictions, two different capacities. The entire great fraud which has been worked against us in our country has hinged on that fact, and our employees accidentally on purpose misunderstanding the capacity in which we are acting. John Michael Downing, one of the people of Minnesota, standing peacefully as a state citizen on the international land jurisdiction of Minnesota, is owed all the guarantees of the constitutions and international treaties he is heir to. If he goes to sea, enters international sea jurisdiction, the British monarch owes him protection. If he enters municipal jurisdiction, the Pope owes him protection. John Michael Downing, a U.S. citizen, acting in the capacity of a person adrift on the international jurisdiction of the sea without a declared permanent domicile, has no guarantees, no treaties, and is presumed to be a ward of the territorial state of Minnesota or the municipal state of Minnesota. He has no constitutional guarantees or protections at all. Those intent upon plundering and pillaging us have, of course, chosen to interpret the capacity in which we are acting to suit themselves and their purposes. They have been eager to mischaracterize us as U.S. citizens living in territorial states of states or municipal states of states instead of as Americans living in actual states of the Union, and to abuse us accordingly. When you knowledgeably take exception to this self-interested presumption and rebut it with pre-established evidence and join your state Jural Assembly, these foreign British territorial and municipal courts are in a bind to excuse their predatory actions against their actual employers and hosts. The shameful and criminal nature of their activities becomes apparent, but it only becomes apparent when you educate yourselves and formally declare your identity and capacity as a state citizen, one of the people of your state, and of the United States of America. Many Americans are fond of spouting off about "we, the people," but they fail to recognize the jurisdiction and capacity that the people are operating in. There have been many arguments about the use of a capital P on the word people, but it is actually very simple. One of the oddities of international jurisdiction, both land and sea, is that it is populated entirely by legal fiction entities, businesses, corporations, and the officers and offices of such businesses and corporations. So, when the people of this country occupy their international land jurisdiction, and inhabit their states of the Union, they act in the capacity of jurors or occupy other offices of their state, and as a group, act as the people of their states and as the people of the United States of America, a lawful unincorporated federation of their states. The state itself is a corporate entity, but it is unincorporated. We see this concept whenever we encounter a small independent business. Jake's Dog Wash, for example, is corporate in that it is a legal fiction with a proper name, but it is not incorporated. It did not ask any other corporation to adopt it or give it privileges and doesn't function under a charter granted by any other corporation. Our own given names are naturally in the same status as our states, and operate in the same corporate but unincorporated capacity as our states of the Union and Jake's Dog Wash. Unfortunately, the same style of proper name can be applied to persons operating in the international jurisdiction of the sea as incorporated franchises of foreign territorial and municipal corporations, such as the British Territorial State of Minnesota or the Roman Catholic Municipal State of Minnesota. And it is up to you to declare and provide evidence of the capacity in which you are choosing to act. Our forefathers sought to cut through this conundrum and avoid the possible attendant abuses of our people by the simple device of allowing us no other citizenship apart from state citizenship. We either is or we ain't. Once you become a juror and member of the state Jural Assembly, you are operating as a state citizen and by definition no longer operating in any capacity as a U.S. citizen, voluntary or otherwise. This is because the states do not allow dual citizenship, and this stands as a safeguard for you against usurpation, false claims in commerce, and other evils that can otherwise be presumed against you by their foreign corporate tribunals. You can operate as a state national or as a state citizen, but you cannot at the same time operate as a U.S. citizen or citizen of the United States. The terms are mutually exclusive for our purposes. Understandably, those who have benefited by mischaracterizing us and being able to abuse us by presuming that we are voluntarily acting in the capacity of U.S. citizens are loath to give up their pretenses and eager to obstruct our progress. Our runaway employees do not want to submit to the yoke of their employers and do not want to respect and fulfill the binding treaties and constitutional service contracts that they have with our states of the Union. The tail has been wagging the dog for a long time and they want to continue spending our money and hypothecating debt against our assets for us. Many Americans and other people around the world have complained that the world is upside down, that those we employ to protect us are abusing us instead, that our courts provide anything but justice, that our medical care has been commandeered by Big Pharma, that our churches have become incorporated businesses more concerned with managing their investments than teaching any moral precepts. You are not imagining things. The world is upside down. It is upside down because the employees are running the employers ragged. So it is up to you to assert your natural birthright capacity and political status, to accept your responsibilities as an American, not as a U.S. citizen, and to set things to right in this country. Nobody can object to this, as nobody has standing to object. Nobody can accuse you of being in insurrection nor rebellion once you firmly and clearly and knowledgeably declare your political status and the capacity in which you are acting. In fact, it is our federal employees, both territorial and municipal, who have flirted with insurrection and trespassed against the people of this country. It is now your role and responsibility to act in the capacity of state Jural Assembly members, as jurors and as other officers of the state and county courts that the people of this country are owed, to put an end to any false and self-interested claims that we have abandoned our country, and act to enforce the public and organic law. Please hit subscribe, like, share, embed, and get ready for many more Anna von Reitz videos.